If you're wondering where to live in Bangkok, Thailand, this is going to be a complete breakdown of the best neighborhoods to choose from. Now, picking the right neighborhood for you is going to be one of the most important decisions that's going to dictate your exact lifestyle while you're here in Bangkok, Thailand. So I'm going to help you make that decision here in this video. I'll see you guys on the computer. So you've probably heard by now that you should stay in Sukhumvit. However, Sukhumvit is not just a single neighborhood. Rather, it's a huge road that stretches all across Bangkok, and every single neighborhood within this road is vastly different from each other. So it's really important to know exactly where you're staying in Sukhumvit. And the reason Sukhumvit is widely recommended and it's a preference amongst foreigners and locals is because it's simply the most convenient. Everything is on Sukhumvit. You have the BTS SkyTrain, you have condos, restaurants, malls, nightlife. You have literally everything all on this single road. So this list is going to cover a ton of different neighborhoods within the Sukhumvit line, as well as a couple neighborhoods that are outside of Sukhumvit. So the first one, which is the most northern neighborhood on this list, which is Ori. This is like the trendy, kind of hipster, kind of calm neighborhood. It's often called like the Brooklyn of Bangkok because it's kind of hip. It has leafy streets, boutique cafes, really nice kind of antique kind of design, and it has a very kind of local community feel, and it's a lot more affordable than other neighborhoods on this list, especially the central areas, and has a creative atmosphere. It's very walkable, it has a mall there, a ton of good restaurants, Michelin food, a couple nice bars. So it's nice if you want a steady kind of relaxed neighborhood. However, it might be a little bit too chill as there's not a lot going on, there's not a ton of things to do, and there's virtually no nightlife if that's important for you. I think it's a nice getaway neighborhood, but long term you might find yourself lacking things to do. However, it's very peaceful. Next one is Siam, which is just 5 stations away from Ari. Now, Siam is Bangkok's premier shopping district. It is literally known as the shopping district. You're surrounded by mega malls such as Siam Paragon, Siam Center, MBK. It's buzzing with energy and packed with young college students, and it's just very lively and youthful. But for long-term living, in my opinion, it can feel very crowded and overwhelming. I hardly know any foreigners who actually live in Siam, because Siam is a place you go to shop or to hang out, but it's not really a place where I feel like people go to actually live. In my opinion, being just a few stations away is much more ideal, rather than being literally in one of the most tourist-heavy locations on this list. Next up is Chidlom and Phloen. They're very similar to each other, as in they're very luxurious and very refined. These neighborhoods are right next to each other, and they offer high-end malls, embassies, clean roads, and a pretty close distance to Lumpini Park. But keep in mind, these two neighborhoods are going to be the most expensive on this list, especially the neighborhood Lang Suan, which is within the Chidlom neighborhood. That is, I believe, the most expensive real estate in all of Thailand. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's at least like top 5 at least. In my opinion, it's a nice neighborhood, but it's very expensive. It doesn't really have a local feel to it. It doesn't have a lot of like Thai culture kind of embodying it. It just feels very like pristine, polished, a bunch of shopping, nice architecture. It reminds me of like the Saks Fifth Avenue, like the Billionaires Row in New York City. It's kind of like that, as an extremely luxurious, extremely expensive, a lot of good shopping, a lot of luxury shopping. But I probably wouldn't recommend this neighborhood for most people unless you just have a huge budget and live like a king, essentially. Next up, we have Nana, which is just 1 station away. And it's literally the opposite of its next door neighbor, which is Chidlom and Phloen, as I mentioned. You know, Nana is famous for its red light district, which is Nana Plaza. So not all of Nana, not the entirety of Nana is like city or like a red light district. So there are some nice restaurants, some nice things to do at Nana, but it just has that stereotypical image, and the overall location of Nana will attract a lot of tourists specifically seeking the red light district, so it can feel quite seedy. However, Nana does offer a huge Indian, Middle Eastern, and African presence with a lot of strong communities, and also has Soi 11, which is one of the most popular nightlife areas in Bangkok, which attracts a lot of foreigners. So if you're looking for like an expat area with, you know, Western bars and restaurants and things, Soi 11 and this general area is going to have a lot of options. However, I generally wouldn't recommend people to stay in Nana just because it can feel very chaotic and, like I said, seedy. I mean, in my opinion, I don't want to taint the whole neighborhood as like this red light thing, but it's a huge presence there. Yeah. And right next door we have Asok, which is the major transportation hub of the city. If there was just one neighborhood that was considered the downtown of Bangkok, it would probably be this neighborhood. You have the BTS and the MRT line intersecting at this single point, so you're gonna have major traffic, and it's gonna be very tourist heavy, and it's gonna be the busiest neighborhood on this list. You've got the famous Terminal 21 Mall, endless restaurants, gyms, rooftops, nightlife spots, all cluttered here, making it extremely walkable. So this is the perfect location if you wanna be central and connected. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually, Asok has one of the best parks as well. So there's a huge park, Bencha Kitty Park in Asok, and actually a lot of recreational sports can be done at this park as well. So actually, Asok is a pretty good neighborhood if you're looking for that as well. But if you're looking for somewhere that's more quieter, more peaceful, then you probably should not stay here. The traffic here is absolutely going to be insane as well. If I were to rate this neighborhood A out of F, I'd probably give it like a B tier, you know, because it's really, really convenient. It's just very chaotic. It's very busy. The next up is Phrom Phong. Now, this is the sweet spot in my opinion. Actually, I would recommend almost anybody that asks me where should I stay in Bangkok. Honestly, I'd probably recommend them stay in Phrom Phong if they're looking to stay right in the center, if they're looking for convenience, modernity, balance, community, things to do. And if they just want to be in one neighborhood and have everything around them, I'd say it's Phrom Phong. Phrom Phong is kind of like Asok in that it's very, very convenient. However, it's just a little bit more refined in my opinion. The architecture is a bit nicer, the malls. You have a huge Japanese expat community here. You have countless things to do. And you also have the park. But yeah, Asok and Phrom Phong both have really, really good parks. However, this neighborhood can be quite pricey and it can be very touristy and also very crowded. And just real quick, if you're interested in becoming a digital nomad and need help escaping your 9-to-5 and relocating abroad and want to join a community of like-minded digital nomads and expats, then make sure to check out my community down in the description below. Next up, we have Thonglor. Now, this is the neighborhood that I stayed in 3 years. I currently still live in Thonglor, and it's considered one of Bangkok's like trendiest neighborhoods, kind of like the Soho of Bangkok. Not in the sense of the shopping, but more in the sense of the cosmopolitan kind of young crowd energy. It's vibrant, it's kind of trend-setting. It's the go-to neighborhood where like affluent Thais, aka Haisos, and digital entrepreneurs and expats converge and hang out. So this is the neighborhood where people come to hang out. You know, there's so many bars, rooftops, nice cafes, restaurants, and they all look picturesque. Like a lot of them are like Instagram worthy, a lot of them are very nicely designed, kind of chic, kind of trendy, kind of hip. So this neighborhood attracts a lot of young crowds and you've got some of the best nightlife here. However, the downside of this neighborhood is that there isn't really like a good mall here and there is no park here. So those are actually two big downsides for me. That's why I always frequent Phrom Phong. So even though I live here in Thonglor, I very often visit Phrom Phong because I crave a park or a mall, you know? Thonglor is gonna be like a B tier in my opinion, even though I lived here for so long. Next up, we have Silom and Sathorn. Now, this is the central business districts of Bangkok. They're defined by ultra-modern, towering skyscrapers, multinational offices, embassies, luxurious accommodations, and these neighborhoods are very, very polished and professional. So if you're an expat employed at an office here in Bangkok, chances are it might be in this neighborhood. You've also got two mega malls, some of the newest malls here in Thailand, which are One Bangkok and Central Park. I mean, if you visit them, they are so grand, you know? Like the architecture in this neighborhood, as well as Phloen and Chidlom, is just so grand, you know? It's so spectacular, it's so first world, it's so developed, like hyper modern. Like, and these neighborhoods are also very close to Lumpini Park, which is one of the best parks in Bangkok. So it provides a nice escape from the hustle and bustle. If I was super, super wealthy, I'd probably live here, maybe Chidlom. Chidlom seems a bit too commercial. So if you have a huge budget and you're trying to live like a very professional kind of more quieter, more polished, more refined kind of lifestyle with like the high-end dining, high-end restaurants, rooftops, then you should definitely check out this neighborhood. Next up, we have the Riverside, which is the Charon Krung and Bang Rak area. This is one of Bangkok's most scenic and historic neighborhoods with beautiful views of the Chapaya River. Don't quote me on this, but I believe this is the only neighborhood that actually has a water view, you know, because there's no official beach in Bangkok. So if you want that water view, if you want that kind of Miami vibe or that kind of Dubai vibe, this is the area you should stay at. It's got some of the most iconic hotels like Mandarin Oriental or the Shangri-La, and also home to the world famous Icon Siam Mall. Now this is the most famous mall in all of Thailand. The malls, the hotels, the architecture, it is just spectacular. You also have yachts and cruises that are always going alongside the Chapaya River, and it just boasts some of the best views in Bangkok. It's very romantic in my opinion. However, the trade-off is going to be transportation. Getting into the center of Bangkok can often take up to an hour. If I were to go from Thonglor to this Icon Siam Mall, by motorbike, it'd probably take around 45 minutes. And then if I wanted to take a car, if there was traffic, it could take at least an hour and 30 minutes or even 2 hours. And also this Riverside area, it can be pretty quiet. And a lot of times if you're going to places or if you have an eventful life or you're meeting with people, it's an inconvenience to live here in my opinion, because you're always gonna have to travel back and forth. And yeah, it can really add up. Next, here are some alternative neighborhoods worth mentioning. First up is Bang Na. It's a neighborhood that's developing very fast. It's very affordable. It's very homey and chill. Like they have a lot of houses and townhomes there that are pretty affordable. You can rent a townhome for maybe 20k baht, 30k baht, which is much cheaper than if you were to rent a house or townhome in Asok, for example. You've got one of the largest malls, which is Mega Bangna. You've got Topgolf, and you've got a lot of affordable condos. Next up is Lat Phrao. Now this is authentic local living. It has budget-friendly rents, it has good food markets. It's only 30 minutes from the center, which is not too bad. It's got malls, it's got shopping, it's got a movie theater. It has a lot of things to do. It has a pretty youthful, young crowd, and it's it feels very Thai, you know, not a lot of foreigners live there. So if you want that cultural immersion without being in a super chaotic neighborhood, and while being in a pretty affordable neighborhood as well, I would strongly recommend Lat Phrao. Next up is Punawiti and Onut. Pretty similar to Bangna in that they're up-and-coming areas, they're quieter, they're more affordable, and they're still on the BTS line as well. Plus, Punawiti has the best co-working space in all of Bangkok, which is True Digital Park. Now, lastly, here's the last neighborhood, which I strongly don't recommend anyone stay at. There's no reason to stay out here. You can visit, you can have fun here, but there's no reason to actually stay here, you know? So this is Khaosan Road. Khaosan Road is Bangkok's legendary backpacker haven. It's buzzing with cheap hostels, crazy bars, non-stop nightlife. Now, contradictory to what most people think, there is no like red light district here. It's pretty much just nightlife and bars and clubs and things like that. And yeah, it's just like the holiday backpacker, like Western person coming here to party and get drunk. And yeah, it does attract a lot of Thai locals as well. Like a lot of Thai locals, a lot of young kids, they like to go here because it's cheap. It's cheap to drink here. And if you want to go to a like huge club or a really like crazy bar, I mean, yeah, Khaosan Road is good for that experience. So I think Khaosan Road is fun to visit every now and then, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense to actually stay here. You know, there's no reason to stay here. You could just stay somewhere else and then travel to Khaosan Road when you want to go out and then go back out, you know? And yeah, that is the last neighborhood on this list. So I hope you guys appreciate this video. Hope it was useful. And like I said, if you need help with your Thailand journey or becoming a digital nomad, make sure to check out my school community down in the description below. Follow me on Instagram at I'm Pauly, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.